Do you ever wonder how to mitigate your risk when it comes to a syndication multifamily passive investment? If so, you are in the right places. Purpose-driven passive profits.
Hey, accredited investors, I'm excited to announce that we have a new deal right now. It's a 49-unit building located in the horse capital of the world, Lexington, Kentucky. This is where the majority of the Kentucky Derby winning horses come from. Its rents on this building are 15% below market for renovated units in the area. To learn more, all you got to do is go to homeinvest.com or click in the link down in the description below. Always consult with a tax advisor, financial planner, or attorney before making an investment decision. Having said all that, all you have to do is go to homeinvest.com or click in the description down below.
Nate Armstrong is the CEO and founder. My name is Steve Warner. I am the Chief Investment Officer. And today we are going to dive into the top 3 questions that you need to ask before joining a syndication deal. These questions will mitigate your risk and make sure that you have a positive exit, because we've all heard lately of people who jumped into a deal and they either did a capital call or the deal took 5 years longer than it was supposed to. They didn't make the kind of returns. We're going to cover the top 3 questions. Between the two of us, we have more than 42 years of experience in real estate. Nate has done more than 400 syndication deals. So we're going to jump into these questions. These are the top 3 questions that will help you mitigate your risk. Nate, what is the first question or the first thing that they need to focus on to mitigate risk?
Yeah, let's talk contractors for a little bit here, okay? So contracting seems like it's straightforward. Like you got some units that are maybe dated. You got to go in there, you got to do carpet paint, spruce them up a little bit, and then turn them back to the rental market. A lot of people don't know how to hire contractors the right way. So I'm going to hit a couple of bullet points. If you're interviewing a syndicator, I would ask them, hey, what is your strategy? What is your plan? How do you make sure that the contracting is done efficiently? Most syndicators, what they're going to do are the following 3 things. Number 1, they're going to wait to be surprised for a tenant to move out before they have the contractor lined up. They're going to say things like, oh, we got to wait for the tenant to move out to scope the property. No, you don't. You can do the scope of work up front. You can have a Gantt chart or an Excel file with every single expiring lease, and you can manage those expiring leases and have contractors lined up in advance. So that's number 1. The second one is, how do they pay contractors? If they're in the era of prepaying contractors, paying 50% down, 100% down, we've all heard the story before of the contractor that got prepaid and then disappeared for some duration of time. We don't play games like that. We have our contractors do the job, submit the invoice, and then we pay them. That's the only way that you can manage these things to make sure that contractors are working on your side in unison with you. Okay. So that's contractors. Should I hit the other ones?
Well, so number 1, when they're actually talking to the syndicator, when they're on the phone, right? Because you're going to see a syndication out there. You're probably on a bunch of email lists. You'll see somebody offer something. You'll book a call. The question that you want to ask is, how do you manage your contractors? How is that set up? And if they give you an answer of something like, oh, we've been there for a while, we have a couple contractors on call, we just make sure to call them when somebody moves out, that is not an acceptable answer. What Nate just laid out for you, having that chart, having the contractors laid out, ready to go when somebody moves out, will probably result in a 20 to 50% higher efficiency. What does that equal for you? That equals the difference between a 14% IRR and an 18% IRR, because when you compress the time, you get more rents coming in. This will also equal more cash flow for you and a higher exit multiple. Just to put it all into perspective. All right, so the second thing that we want to talk about, you want to make sure to ask your syndicators about this, because this will show whether they know what they're doing or not, whether they're just new to the market or whether they've been active for a while. What is the second one that we want to ask, Nate?
Yeah, so let's talk about how they do earnest money deposits, things like that. So in the contract phases, typically what happens is that syndicators or teams that are doing multifamily real estate, they're out and they're hunting down the deal and they're making a lot of offers. When an offer is verbally accepted, what happens is it turns into a letter of intent. That's the first phase of a multifamily offer that gets serious. So it goes from letter of intent, and then it goes, if that letter of intent is accepted, then it goes to an actual purchase and sale agreement, typically written by an attorney. Now, it's important to note how they handle the earnest money. The earnest money, it's a big deal. We have a deal right now that the earnest money, it's $125,000. And there's this question that always comes up between seller and buyer of if the earnest money should be hard or if it's not hard. Shall I define that, Steve?
Yes, please.
Okay, so what hard means is that day number one, regardless of the outcome of the due diligence, that money is committed. It's hard. You're not getting it back. So even though it's a deposit, the deposit is only credited back at sale. So if it's a hard earnest money, just know that that money is not going to come back. And so if you're someone that's like getting in on the early phases of a syndication deal, and your operator or the partner that you're potentially going to invest with, if they've already committed hard earnest money dollars, that means that they're committed to the deal regardless of what's found during due diligence. It's a little bit scary. Sometimes deals get forced when people have that kind of commitment, six-figure commitment on the table. And so I would pump the brakes a little bit. In this kind of market right now, if you're working off market deals, that's the key, not on market, but off market, you should be able to do a standard earnest money that's refundable during the due diligence period. And that's the kind of deals that we like to go after. We're going to put it out there. We're fine doing some kind of deposit or earnest money, but it's going to be refundable during the due diligence period.
Awesome. So just so you guys understand that when you're having that question and answer period, when you're on the phone or on a Zoom call with the syndicator, you want to ask them, have you put earnest money down yet? They should have, because the LOI will be there. They will have made that. They're talking to you about the deal, and you want to ask them whether it's hard or soft. And the reason is, like, just to kind of wrap this up in a bow, if it's hard money, that means that that syndicator took $100,000 plus out of their pocket, and they said, no matter what, this is yours. If we don't close on the deal, it still goes to this person selling the property. The reason that affects you is because the syndicator is going to try whatever they can to make this deal work, which means it might be a little bit riskier. They might fudge some numbers. They might kind of massage things a little bit to make it look better because their money is on the line. All right, so that wraps up number 2. What is the third thing that will really help people mitigate risk?
Yeah, straight up interview them about not just past performance, but what have they exited on? What have they actually taken full cycle? What have they bought, fixed, raised rents on, and then sold? That's the most important question, because in today's day and age, right now, you got the internet, social media. People can blow themselves up and make them kind of look like a celebrity doing the thing that they claim to be doing. But what it all comes down to, they might have bought 6 deals in the last year. They might have bought 6 deals in the last 3 years, but have they sold? And if they sold, how close did they come to their original projections? You want to be with a team, especially that as we change market cycles and we go into this recession, you want to be with a team that has had full cycle, several exits in all kinds of market conditions: high interest rates, low interest rates, good real estate market, bad real estate market, middle of a recession, middle of booming times. The more that a syndicator or an operating partner has exited, meaning they bought it, they increased rents, and then they turned around and sold it and profited, the more they've done that in all these different seasons, the better they're going to be as your operating partner in the middle of this deal. So I want someone that's going to exit it a lot.
That is so true. Like, it is so easy in today's day and age to blow yourself up on social media, to make yourself look great, to have the right topical answers. But when you dive deep, you just want to say, how many projects have you actually exited? What was your rate of return on that? What was your exit multiple? What did you get for investors? And if they hem and haw, or if they redirect the conversation, or if they say, well, we've got one deal, we're probably going to exit at like 25%, like a 2.2 multiple. Say, how far into that deal are you? When are you exiting? What's your exit strategy? Because you want to make sure, like 2015, even I would say like 2018, 19, 20, and then in COVID, there were all these deals and people really started moving forward. There are a lot of people who are in the middle of deals right now that are not going to end well based on their adjustable mortgages and the cash flow structure of the property, and not seeing things down the line that you learn, right? Like people who have 20 years of experience, you see things coming and you can adjust, you make sure the deal is set up properly. And a lot of these new syndicators, they read a book or two, they got some mentoring, they jumped all in. They're good at sales, but they're not good at delivery. And the way that you make sure is to just be upfront and ask. And if they can't give you a solid number, if they're honest and they say, you know what, we've entered 3 or 4 deals in the last 2 years, these are our plans, then at least they're being honest and transparent. I would trust that person. But if they hem and haw and they redirect the conversation and they don't actually answer your question, run. That would be my answer. Inside of Home Invest, more than 400 deals done. We've averaged about a 22% IRR. We advertise, we're aiming for a 16%, but we are really careful with the deals that we underwrite. We make sure that we pay dividends from day one, and we aim for a 1.8x multiple. We have overperformed on all of those things over and over and over in our exits. Nate, anything to say in wrapping this up?
Yeah, now is the time. Like this topic, Steve, when you brought it up, like it's actually a very prudent one. When we go through this change in cycle, there will be some people that unfortunately they didn't have those safety measures put in place, and they're going to get hurt, and they're going to hurt investors. So now is the time to double down on this. If some of these topics were new to you, I encourage you to go back and re-listen to this. That way, there just becomes part of your vocabulary, part of your due diligence when you're looking at potential deals, and then you'll be ready to rock. You'll keep yourself safe, and you can go out there and follow that Matthew 25 principle and invest wisely, safely, and keep doubling your money.
So just to touch on the stewardship principle, Matthew 25, be a good steward. Don't bury your money under a rock. That's not going to do you or God any good. You do need to be smart and prudent when you're making decisions. That's the whole point of this podcast. If you would like to learn about the deals that Nate and I have going on currently, you can go to homeinvest.com. It's also in the show notes down below, or if you're watching this on YouTube, it is linked there in the description for you. You can book a call with myself or with Sue, who is our head advisor. We would both love to chat with you. We'll walk you through our deals, and we'll be able to answer all of these questions for you. So until next time, remember, invest with wisdom, ask good questions, and we'll see you here on Purpose-Driven Passive Profits. Thanks so much for listening to our show today. Here's Nate with our latest offering.
Hey, accredited investors, I'm excited to announce that we have a new deal right now. It's a 49-unit building located in the horse capital of the world, Lexington, Kentucky. This is where the majority of the Kentucky Derby winning horses come from. Its rents on this building are 15% below market for renovated units in the area. To learn more, all you got to do is go to homeinvest.com or click in the link down in the description below. Always consult with a tax advisor, financial planner, or attorney before making an investment decision. Having said all that, all you have to do is go to homeinvest.com or click in the description down below.
We'll see you soon here on Purpose-Driven Passive Profits.